As far as the eye can see, house after house after house. Mexico City, the world's second biggest city, is home to more than 20 million people and one of the greatest examples of urban sprawl.
We're standing in the rooftops of Ciudad Neza, a community of 1.5 million people where this has been built one home at a time. Maybe this is the future of urban planning.
One of the problems of the city, and it's one of the megalopolis in the world, is that it spread without any planning, and it literally spread to every single place that the city could.
The United Nations says urban sprawl is the symptom of a divided, dysfunctional city. Jose Castillo is an urban planner. There are lessons, he believes, to be taken from the existing streets and communities.
In Mexico City, 60% of the city has grown through some mechanism of informal planning. And what's quite compelling is to see that some of these peripheries and even places of the central city have transformed themselves into real cores of urbanity.
This is Neza. It used to be one of the biggest slums in the city. 50 years on, it still sprawls across the landscape, but it is also a thriving urban centre. It's a prime example of unplanned, unregulated, unmanaged growth, and also of how some sprawling areas can become successful neighbourhoods.
Maybe the one relevant aspect of a place like Neza is to learn from what happens to city in the absence of planning. What happens when lack of regulation can produce this kind of vitality. Maybe what we need to do is not try to improve Neza, but find what Neza can tell us to the way we make and produce cities.
One of the major problems associated with sprawl is the pressure on infrastructure.
It's impossible to move without a car because a lot of the places in the city do not have public transportation access. If you live there and you have to work downtown, for example, it's literally a nightmare.
The challenge of delivering water, electricity and telephone lines to a seemingly endless boundary is not easy. Here in Neza, drinking water has to arrive in trucks.
If you think that Mexico City is indeed a megalopolis with 20 million inhabitants that consumes 35 cubical meters of water per second, and we have 4 million of cars, and we generate 13,000 tons of waste per day. This means that we have to manage a lot of troubles, and this is a complicated city to live in.
You can figure out like this. You have 20% of our total population as a country in 1% of our national territory. So it's amazing. So it's an experiment, urban experiment.
The authorities are experimenting with the idea of building up instead of out.
Why until now? Why not before? 20 years or 30 years ago? Because it's an earthquake city. So you have the earthquake of 85. So there are a lot of resistance in our psychology as a city to build a lot of high, tallest buildings in the city.
This building, well, the building that used to exist here was badly damaged in the 1985 earthquakes.
Urbi is one of the biggest house builders in Mexico. It's working with the city government to re-densify the downtown area. This patch of land used to house 9 families. Now 17 families will live here.
Well, the pressure of housing is huge because according to the latest census, there's been a dramatic growth in the city. But that generates a lot of problems. The cost of land has risen fivefold in the last 10 years. It's a play of the cost of land per unit. It's a matter of maximum density.
We're just about to start our first high-rise here in Mexico City. And of course it's great that we can do a 52-story building. But what happens to the streets are not getting wider. There's no more infrastructure underneath to bring more water. There's a lot of things that need to be tied together with the densification. It's not only about, okay, let's go high. What's going to happen with all the traffic? People getting in and out, of course it's going to be crazy.
Jose Castillo supports the re-densification project, but he also sees the reality of life on the edges of this megacity.
Sprawl, with all its negative qualities, can suddenly turn into cities. In a way, the beauty of Neza, or the real promise of Neza, lies in the way that the citizens and the physical structure have transformed what used to be sprawling periphery into a vital and very alive sense of community.
The vibrant community of Neza has thrived. People here have come a long way from the original slums. Perhaps the key to future growth is learning from the successes of areas like this.